On the eve of their 75th wedding anniversary, this elderly couple finally fulfilled a lifelong wish. By June 2015, Jeanette and Alexander Toxco of San Diego, California, had both enjoyed long, rich, and rewarding lives. They'd reached their 90s, having spent the great majority of their time on Earth together, 75 of them as a happily married couple. The lucky and loved Toxcos had also been very fortunate in getting most of what they wanted out of life. Nevertheless, there was still one item on their wish list, and it was a final request that their loving family made sure was fulfilled. Jeanette and Alexander's story began almost a century ago in the city of Stamford, Connecticut. Both were born in 1919, joining large families led by Polish immigrant parents. The pair caught each other's eye early on. In fact, they coupled up when both school children were just 8 years old. And it seems that they never looked back. Amy, one of the Toxco's quintet of kids, told the San Diego ABC-affiliated channel KGTV in June 2015 about a pictorial reminder of those far-off days. Apparently, her father carried around a picture of Jeanette in her Holy Communion outfit in his wallet. The Connecticut couple's puppy love eventually matured into the real deal, and by 1940, Jeanette and Alexander were married. Very soon after their big day, there was a momentous change to their lives. Alexander joined the U.S. Navy as a telegraph operator right around the time the country entered World War II. Between 1941 and 1945, many American ships sailed the Pacific to do battle with the Empire of Japan, while others fought Nazi Germany and Italian forces in the Atlantic and Mediterranean. Thankfully, Alexander made it back to the States safe and sound. When the servicemen came back to Stamford, the Toxcos were at last able to settle into their married life together. Subsequently, Alexander took a job in the advertising industry in New York City, where he toiled away for the next 20 years or so. Not that his traveling days were over. He and Jeanette enjoyed their own adventures, taking off to visit places such as Bermuda. However, along the way, the couple embarked on a series of other adventures. Indeed, Alexander and Jeanette welcomed no fewer than 5 children into the world. Along with Amy, they had a son, Richard, and 3 other daughters, Donna, Lynn, and Andra. In time, the Toxcos would also serve as granny and grandpa to 10 grandchildren, and later they were blessed with 6 great-grandchildren. By the early 1970s, the Toxcos decided that it was time for a radical change of scenery. The family swapped coasts and moved to San Diego, California. Once established on the West Coast, Alexander set up his own marketing company, Blue Sky, which specialized in advertising and fashion photography. But even at work, Alexander was keen to have his partner in life as partner in crime. As a result, he appointed Jeanette as his right-hand woman. She served as Blue Sky's chief stylist. With his professional life on the right track, Alexander re-engaged with his longtime passion for art and a new hobby, golf. He subsequently devoted himself to both pastimes for decades to come. But for all that time, his children were secure in the knowledge that mom and dad were completely in love. Indeed, daughter Amy told KGTV, "Their heart beats as one for as long as I can remember." And their unified hearts beat strongly, with the Toxcos remaining hale and hearty well into their 90s. However, unfortunately, early 2015 changed all that, when Alexander fell and fractured his hip bone. His accident would mark the start of a very steep and rapid decline in the 95-year-old's health. Eventually, he needed specialized care to allow him to stay at home by Jeanette's side. Richard, the Toxcos' son, remembered his bedbound father's final few weeks to KGTV, saying he was going fast. Nonetheless, his caregivers rallied round to make Alexander as comfortable as possible in his San Diego home he shared with Jeanette. They even situated the dying man's hospital bed alongside his wife's sleeping space. But as Alexander's health deteriorated further, his family and carers noticed something unexpected happening. His confused 96-year-old wife began to show signs that all was not well physically and mentally with her either. Indeed, by June 2015, Jeanette had lost track of the date and had to ask her children what time of year it was. But when they informed her that it was June, Jeanette asked hopefully if it was the 29th. This was always a special date in the Toxcos calendar, being the date on which she and Alexander were married in 1940. But 2015's entry was an extra special date. It would see Jeanette and Alexander celebrate their 75th wedding anniversary. In actual fact, it was a few days short of that magical date, but the Toxco children decided to tell a little white lie. They informed their mom that it was indeed the day of her and her husband's diamond anniversary. Consequently, the kids went to town and brought in all the markers of a celebration. Flowers and balloons decorated the failing couple's home. Amy recalled the no doubt bittersweet occasion to KGTV cameras. "We said happy anniversary, and my mother was thrilled to death because it was their anniversary," the daughter remembered. She knew that he was going and that they had made it to 75 years. Nevertheless, having made it that far, the Tokskos still had one more wish to fulfill together. It seems the couple had always envisioned dying just as they had lived, side by side. Their final request was that they should go out together, in their own bed, holding hands in each other's arms. Sadly, the end was not quite as neat as that. It was Alexander who passed away first on June 17th, with his family gathered around Mom and Dad's bedside. But as he finally looked like succumbing, he held on to Jeanette's hand. The children left the room so the parents could have their final goodbye in privacy. Nonetheless, it fell to Amy to tell her mother when Alexander eventually passed, and she watched on as Jeanette spoke to her husband one last time. Amy later told KGTV, she hugged him and she said, "See, this is what you wanted. You died in my arms and I love you. I love you. Wait for me. I'll be there soon." In less than 24 hours, Jeanette had joined her husband on the other side. But it was not just the remaining Tokskos who were deeply moved by the couple's final moments on Earth. Indeed, everyone who had cared for the nonagenarians felt the depth of their love for each other. As Amy said, even the hospice nurse said it was the most incredible thing to see the two of them taking those last breaths together. On June 29, 2015, the day of the couple's diamond anniversary, Jeanette and Alexander Toksko were laid to rest together in their beloved San Diego. Indeed, the funeral service was the closing chapter on their remarkable love story, as well as a celebration of their 75 years of wedded bliss. And that date will surely be forever etched on the hearts of all the surviving Tokskos.